November 1st, 2024. The day Lil Uzi Vert's career supposedly ended. We need to talk about the numbers because they are catastrophic. When Eternal Atake dropped in 2020, it moved 288,000 units in the first week. It was a cultural event. It was the soundtrack of the pandemic lockdown. Fast forward 4 years, Eternal Atake 2 hits the shelves, the sequel to his magnum opus. The result? 59,000 units. That is an 80% drop. That isn't a decline, that is a free fall without a parachute. Critics tore it apart. Pitchfork gave it a 4.7. The fans on Reddit were even more brutal. They called it absolute agony. They called it soulless. People were asking if Uzi was washed, if his struggles had finally caught up to him, if the magic was gone for good. But they were asking the wrong questions, because right now, January 2026, Lil Uzi Vert has the #1 rap song in the country. He is the most talked about person in hip-hop. He is everywhere, from the Billboard charts to the college football playoff sidelines. So ask yourself this: how does an artist drop the biggest flop of the decade and 60 days later turn into the biggest star in the world? You are confused, the fans are confused, the industry is scratching its head. But I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Uzi didn't flop. He didn't lose his touch. He pulled off a heist. He looked at his contract, he looked at his label, and he decided to burn the ship to save the captain. This is the story of the Frank Ocean maneuver, and how Lil Uzi Vert scammed the music industry to save his career. To understand the chaos of 2026, you have to understand the prison of 2015. Uzi signed to Generation Now, a label run by DJ Drama and Don Cannon. It seemed like a dream team, but it turned into a nightmare. For years, we heard the stories, Uzi claiming he couldn't drop music. Free Uzi wasn't just a hashtag, it was a plea for help. The standard deal for an artist of that era is brutal. The label owns the masters. That means they own the actual recording of the song. Every time you stream EXO Tour Life, the label gets the lion's share. Uzi gets a royalty, usually around 15 to 20%. Think about that math. You create the product, you sell the product, you are the face of the product, but you only keep 15 cents on the dollar. And it gets worse. These contracts usually work on a quota system. You owe the label a specific number of albums, not mixtapes, not EPs, albums. Until you deliver those albums, you are property. You cannot leave, you cannot sign elsewhere, you are stuck. So here's the situation in late 2024. Uzi wants out. He has been teasing Love Is Rage 3 as his final album for 2 years. He told fans in Chicago back in 2023 that he wanted to live a normal life. He was selling the retirement narrative hard, but he still owed Generation Now, Atlantic Records, a project. If he released Love Is Rage 3 under that deal, his final album, his legacy project, the label would own it forever. They would eat off his retirement funds for decades. Why would he give them his best work? Why would he hand over his masterpiece to the people he has been fighting with for 10 years? He wouldn't, so he didn't. Enter the Frank Ocean maneuver. In 2016, Frank Ocean was in the same spot with Def Jam. He owed them one more album, so he built a staircase in a warehouse. He filmed it in black and white, he put some ambient noise over it, he called it Endless, he handed it to Def Jam. Contract fulfilled, deal over. 24 hours later, he released Blonde independently. He kept all the money, he kept the masters, he became a legend. Lil Uzi Vert watched that happen, and in November 2024, he executed his own version. Eternal Atake 2 was not an attempt to make a hit, it was a contractual dump. Look at the evidence, the rollout was non-existent. The song sounded like leftovers. Critics called it hasty for a reason. It was hasty, it was a minimum viable product, just enough to legally count as an album. He cleared the ledger, he zeroed out the balance, and the moment that album flopped, he was a free agent. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at Instagram. A fan commented on a post. They wrote, "So you pulled a Frank Ocean and EA2 was your Endless to get out of your deal?" Uzi didn't reply. He didn't argue, he liked the comment. He was already planning the resurrection. November 2024 ends. The smoke clears, and suddenly the narrative shifts. We get an announcement. Lil Uzi Vert partners with Roc Nation Distribution. Pay attention to that word, distribution. He didn't sign a record deal. He didn't sign to Jay-Z's label. He signed a service deal. Here is the difference. In a record deal, they own the masters. In a distribution deal, Uzi owns the masters. Roc Nation just handles the plumbing. They get the songs on Spotify, they collect the checks, they take a small fee, maybe 15%. Uzi keeps the rest. He went from keeping 15 cents on the dollar to keeping 85 cents. He launched his own imprint. He calls it Core, stylized with parentheses, like a computer file, like a system reboot. Do the math again. If Eternal Atake had sold 1 million copies under his old deal, he would have made less money than he makes now selling a fraction of that. He bet on himself. He traded volume for equity. This is the meta game. He stopped playing by the rules of the Billboard 200. He started playing the game of asset accumulation. But a business deal isn't enough. You can have the best contract in the world, but if nobody cares about your music, you are just the king of an empty castle. He needed to make people care again. He needed to wake everyone up. He needed a glitch. Marketing in 2026 is impossible. People are bored. Algorithms suppress everything. You can't just drop a song. You have to create a conspiracy. Uzi knows this better than anyone. Remember the forehead diamond? Remember the controversy around his imagery? He is a master of rage bait. So for his independent debut, he didn't just drop a trap banger, he dropped What You Saying. He sampled Indila, a French pop singer who hasn't been relevant since 2014. It's a haunting, weird, melodic sample. It fits the Jersey Club bounce he perfected on Just Wanna Rock. But the song was the bait. The lyrics were the hook. He starts talking about a foreign girl. He hints at a secret relationship. The internet did exactly what he wanted them to do. They started digging. They connected the dots to Indila. The rumors exploded. Is Uzi dating Indila? Is he cheating on JT? And then he hit us with the visuals. Chanel boy. He isn't wearing streetwear. He isn't trying to look hard. He is in head-to-toe Chanel. Sleeping on Chanel pillows, doing donuts in a car until the tire marks form the Chanel logo. It is absurd. It is high art. It is a rejection of the SoundCloud rapper box people put him in. He is signaling to the world that he is luxurious. He is expensive. He is independent. The Shanae line, it's hilarious. But he needed one more thing. He needed to win back the heart of the people. He needed to touch grass. January 19, 2026, the College Football Playoff National Championship. This is the climax of the movie. The most unexpected crossover of the year. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback for the Indiana Hoosiers, a college kid. He casually invites Uzi to the game back in July. He didn't even have a ticket for him. It was a shot in the dark, a Hail Mary. Most rappers would ignore it. Most celebrities are too cool for Indiana football. But Uzi shows up. He isn't in a VIP box hiding behind sunglasses. He is on the sideline. He is wearing a Mendoza jersey. He has a blonde buzz cut. He looks genuinely happy. The internet lost its mind. Lil Uzi Vert was born. It trended instantly. The fans looked at him and thought, this guy does whatever he wants. And that is the ultimate power move. So let's look at the scoreboard now. The plan was crazy. Tank an album, fake a retirement, launch a company, start a conspiracy theory with a French singer, become the mascot for an Indiana football team. Did it work? It hit number 14 on the Hot 100. Streams are up 23% week over week. He is charting globally. The sentiment has flipped. Go to Reddit now. They aren't calling him washed. They are saying Uzi is back. They are praising the new sound. They are dissecting the Indila samples and the money. He owns it all. Every stream of What You Saying goes directly into his pocket. The failure of Eternal Atake 2 is a distant memory. It is a footnote in his Wikipedia page. History is written by the winners, and Uzi won. He proved that the major label model is dead for artists of his size. He proved that you don't need a machine to make a hit. You just need a fan base, a brain, and a little bit of chaos. The confusion you felt was real. It was designed that way. Uzi treated his career like a video game. He sacrificed a pawn to save the queen. He understood that in 2026, attention is the only currency that matters. If he had released a normal album, if he had done a normal rollout, he would have been ignored. He would have been just another legacy act trying to stay relevant. Instead, he gave us a puzzle. He gave us a disaster. And then he gave us a miracle. He took us on a roller coaster ride from the bottom of the charts to the top of the world. So the next time you see a favorite artist flop, the next time you see them do something that makes absolutely no sense, don't assume they are stupid. Don't assume they are finished. Ask yourself, who owns the masters? Ask yourself what contract they are trying to escape. Because they might just be pulling a Lil Uzi Vert. They might be sacrificing short-term success for long-term control. Lil Uzi Vert isn't just a rapper anymore. He is a character. He is a mogul, and he is the smartest troll in the room. His latest move didn't just confuse fans, it liberated him. And that is something worth saying.